Hi everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. All right, I'm stealing a little bit of time because time is not my friend right now, but I just had this in my head. I think I got the idea from someone else, but then I just added and embellished a little bit more. So if you have ever worked with envelopes, this is probably going to be very recognizable, but this is what it is. So I'm going to unwrap that. And then I have sort of like a flip-flop envelope, little journaling. Isn't it cute? So I thought I would come on here and make one. For some, this is going to be easy peasy. For others that might just be starting out, it might be something new that you can try. So I think I did see the idea from, I don't remember who, but they just, I think, had one flap. I don't remember how that was, but anyway, I thought I'm gonna go a step further. I'm gonna put 3 flaps on mine. And then of course I did my string around, and then I have a little charm. So yeah, it's super cute. All right, well, let's just make one. So first of all, started out with a regular envelope. You know, you get these in the mail. Certain things come in them. And I even have my husband trained, like, I need this envelope. And, you know, like, don't cut it at this end. You have to cut it at this end because, you know, that won't be I mean, it could be salvageable, but cut it at that end. So the first thing I did was took my envelope and I cut it down to 8. And the envelope is a little over 4, but I made it 8 in length. And then I'm doing a couple of them at a time, so I went ahead and scored, and I scored at, let's see, 6.5, because I want to have that flap that comes over. Now there's different versions of these. You could just cut it straight across, do the same thing I did, and just have the tag come from the top and not mess with the whole, you know, closure. That's fine. You can do it that way too. But I liked this and I thought I'm going to try it. Plus I have never done one of these before. And I wanted to try doing one of those. I had originally thought I was going to put 2 of them, one here and one down here, and then I could just wrap it like this. But I had already had this page done and I didn't want to see it from the back when you flopped it open. So, but that's okay. I did it from the back and that'll work just fine anyway. All right, so then I just basically folded it over. But then I want to take this top piece off because as I'm layering, this is going to get thicker, and it's a lot of bulk, and I don't want the bulk. Plus you want to have that opening for when that part. Well, you'll see. Yeah, let's just quit jabbing and just do it. So I literally just took off a tiny smidgen off of each end, enough to start that opening. And same on this end. Then I could remove this piece and keep this piece. So I didn't do anything fancy. I just folded that back and took my scissors and then cut across. So now I have this. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start decorating the sides. And I just went through my stash, and I'm going to use a few of the pieces I used on the first one. But basically, I just went through and I'm like, okay, that'll work. And then I think this maybe across the top. See if that's long enough once I get there. Yes, it is. Or I could do this. I could do this on the bottom. I could do this on the inside. Let's see how wide that is. I want it to be wide enough and I'll probably change this piece out because I want it to be wide enough to come up and cover the top of this. On the other one, it wasn't, and I had to recover that, but then it made it super thick. So I'm going to get a piece that actually fits in there, which might be this one. I'll have to cut it down a little bit. All right, but first of all, let's go ahead and start with this. All right, so I'm going to bring in my little glue book here. And then I do like the kind of rougher edges. And I want this to go straight up to here, but not over it. If it does, I can always cut it off. It's not a big deal. I can fold this back again and then just trim across. But I'm going to try to get it as close as possible. And then this side to this side. And I don't quite need that much. So I'm going to go ahead and cut across there. And I'm going to ink these up. And I do usually ink all of the edges that are going to be towards the inside. And I have been using lately tea dye because I'm starting on another project. And I'm finding that I really like it. So I've decided to, continue to use it on some of my projects. I use a lot of vintage photo, which I think most of us do. But, I'm just trying to use different things that I have invested in and make them work. All right, let's just put that aside. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and what I like to do just to make sure I get it in the right spot, and it might be a little bit of overkill, but I usually do this, and then I turn it over, and I actually draw where I want to lay that, and then I only need to put glue right here, and it just seems to work out well. Just takes a few extra seconds, but which I don't have right now, but I'm stealing time. I've been super busy working on something that has taken me away from the house, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even getting my own yard done, so I need to start focusing. Let me make sure that's up enough. I'm going to pull that back up. I'll ink it. But anyway, yeah, I've been really focused on something else, and it's just taken me away from my own stuff. And I thought yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going home to do my own stuff. I started to get some of my yard stuff out and, kind of get that going. Okay, let me get back in here. Where am I at? I'm going to go a little bit over on the top because that way I'll just cut it off. Oop. It doesn't have to be perfect. So. Plus, I can go a little bit over that line and know that I got those edges really, really good instead of just a strip of paper that I have to then struggle with. So I'm going to put that right there. Okay, and then here. You just go and snip off. Wait till that dries a little bit. It's not quite dry. So I'm going to snip off each side. Okay, so I have my sides. Now I'm gonna use, let's see, what other things did I have? This, use that for that. I can use this. All right, I think I'm gonna put this down here, but because I like the jiggy-jaggy edges, and you can just rip this with a regular ruler, I'm just gonna use my tear ruler and rip a little bit So the tear ruler gives it these little nice little edges. And I need about, I'm gonna go over, so I'll cut it about here. And then Matt's gonna lay about there. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. And then while I'm doing that, I think I will get, what did I use for my other piece? Now on this one, I will tell you, I like to fold this over inside. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful of laying and then and the cuts, so I can fold this to the inside of this to cover up any of that white, which was, it's about 4 1/8. So I'm actually going to take my cutter and I'm going to cut that exactly at 4 1/8. I'm going to cut this side though. Yeah, I want this side. Wait a minute. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I want to get rid of some on this side because I want to keep more of that. Okay. Yeah, I want to keep more of the actual clothing. And then I might as well cut this while I have it right here and ready. And I'm going to take that down to 4 1/8 as well. Because that will fit right down, I believe, inside. I might have to take a smidgen more off of that, which is not a big deal. Yeah, it's a little bit tight, so I'll take another smidgen off of that. But in the meantime, let's put a little jiggy-jaggy on the edge of this if I can. Oop. Too many rulers, too many tools. Okay. Hold that super tight and hope I can get that ripped. Yeah, I did it. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and ink again. Now this time I'm going to ink these edges because they're going to come up to here and I want them inked before I lay it down. I guess you could do it afterwards, but then I don't worry about inking the top because that's going to be folded and then I'll ink wherever it folds at. So do that. And then I'm going to lay that. Yeah, that's going to be like almost perfect. I might have to take a sliver off here, but that's okay. So this, I'm going to ink the whole thing before I lay it down. Well, most of it, because what lays down inside can wait a minute. But I'm at least going to get where it's going to be laying on the window and across. I'm going to get that inked up pretty close to the top. Okay, and then that's going to go right there. And then when I get ready to lay it back to see where it needs to fold in, I'm just going to fold it right where that top was. And see, I didn't want to glue up here because I don't want it to glue to this yet. I'm not ready for that. So then I'm going to tuck it inside and yeah, that'll work. That will work. And even though I'm coming apart there, it's okay. I'll just re-glue it when it gets time. I don't think I have to do anything else with that. It's in there, so I don't think I'm even going to take that out and re-glue it. All right, now let's get that bottom piece on. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to ink that up. And these are fun just to, in general, just to decorate. And like I said, you don't have to have this. This can just be open like this. Put a little thumb notch there, and it's yeah, just fun to decorate them and put a tag inside of them. So this is gonna be about here. Okay, so I'm going to take that. It is amazing how quickly, when you're doing stuff like this, your desk can become so messy. And I can't work in mess, so I have everything super close so I can put it back where it belongs. Like all of my scissors and stuff over here is super easy to get back where it belongs, but I end up throwing it on the desk, and then I have to take a second to just kind of put everything back because it just drives me nuts. I can't find anything. If I got to search for stuff, it becomes not fun anymore for me. So I try to keep it cleaned up. Okay. Got that. All right, I'm gonna let that dry just a minute while I'm cutting this down. That's gonna go on the inside. I'm gonna cut that down just a little smidgen more. And then I think that'll work. And if it's a little bit of white on the edges, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna ink it up anyway. Let's see. Is that not enough? Come on. It'll fit. I just gotta work it. Just gotta work it. I'm not gonna force it. I'm gonna cut it a little bit more. Until it cooperates. Just a smidgen. All right. Much better. Okay, that should be the ticket. Yep. All right, so that's gonna go about right here. And I'm gonna bring it right up to the edge again, this edge. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this off. I'm gonna cut it from the front. I might have to put it down in there just a smidgen more for this top to close so it doesn't impede it. No, that's pretty good. So I'm not going to do a whole lot more with that. I'm going to turn this over, and just to keep it in place, I'm going to just put some glue right there at the very top. You don't have to glue the whole thing because it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to do this, but I want to make sure it's not gluing here. Okay. And these were so fun to do. So I'm like, oh, I have stuff prepped for more than just this one. So I'm gonna save that because that can go in my second one. So let's move that out of the way, get this trimmed up. And I'm trying to use like little pieces. I have like a 12 by 12, those 12 by 12 storage containers that have 3 drawers in them. And I have one that is just for a little bit bigger scraps and then some tiny scraps. And I don't let them get any bigger than what they are. And these, I'm not even going to keep these. And then I'll go through and then start using, because I do use them and I find things to use them on. So I don't want to just get rid of all of them and then all my scraps, or I have to cut a new piece of paper to get something I want. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to do another piece that I put inside, but I bring up and over so that I can get the top. If you can see what I did here, I did the whole piece and then just took it over the back side. So what do I want to use? I thought I had, yes, I think I can use this. Even though I cut something out in it, I think I can still use it. I think I can still use it. Let's just get that little piece off. And then, okay, so I want this to go down inside just a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing. And I think 4 1/8 seemed too much, so we're just going to go for 4. I'm going to turn that to get it this way. And we're just going to see if that 4 will work. Yes. Yep, that'll be fine. Because I'm going to be inking up those edges anyway. So that way it just looks nice and clean on the inside. All right, let's get that out of the way. Throw that away. And I'm going to go ahead and ink right here, just in case any of that is showing, and right here. And I might as well do this since I'm right here. And then I'll do around the edges when I'm done. And then I'm going to do these edges before they're all glued down. And I might do that one just to finish it off. And this one's going to the back, so I'm not going to worry about inking that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Yep, looks good. Just going to turn this over, straighten that up a little bit. Let's see, how close am I? Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn this. Oh, I think I jostled it. I'm going to turn this back on itself. So I have this. And while that's like that, before I try, it's quite close to the edge. That might not work because I'm very close to the edge and you're going to be able to see the white, and I don't know that I like that. But let's try it anyway. If I ink up this, it might not be too noticeable. At least if I get over top of the writing. All right, let's try that again. How did I have that? And maybe I should try to put this right to the edge. No, I want it down in there a little bit. All right, so we're going to go back to plan A, plan original. And then I'm just going to go ahead and, yeah, it's going to be right there, but that's okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to cut that off at the top and ink it up. So now while this is like this, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of paper under here. It's all very fiddly, you see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and extra up here just for because I want to. I'm going to turn that back on itself. And I can always put some washi tape or something over the top. I'm not even going to try to turn that down because there's just not enough there to do it. And then when it gets to this part, now I'm going to have to glue this down so that's not coming up. So let me get that done. Okay, press that down, and voila. Oh, it's still coming up. I gotta wait till that dries. I might have to go back in there with some art glitter glue and make sure that is stuck down. Yep, let me just get my old art glitter glue. That's gonna make it stick. Some things you need your art glitter glue for. Some things the Scotch Create, these are my two favorites, works well for. But my art glitter glue is just a no-fail for me. I've just had so much good luck with it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off at the top. And I think I'm going to do the washi. I think this is crooked. I feel like it's crooked now. It'll be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to trim. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to go in to these corners just to make it look a little bit more like an envelope top. And that's crooked and I don't like it, so that's going to have to be fixed because I don't like it. All right, and I'm no good at freestyle, so let's not do that. Yeah, there's something just not lining up. Okay, that's much better. I'm much more happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and ink around again. Yeah, cute. Cute, cute, cute. And like I said, you could leave it just like this. Put your little thing on there, leave it just like this, and be done. But I just can't leave it just like that. And I think, let's see, I'm going to see what washi tape I got. I don't keep a lot of washi tape. I'm just not really a washi tape person. But for instances like this, it does come in handy when I want to cover up that top. So I'm going to get myself a piece off of there. And then I think I'm going to lay it right about here. So not to get that crooked either. And then I'll just lay that to the back. And you can just do this with paper too, if you wanted to do something else for the top. And then you could just glue the paper on there. So I'm going to snip those off. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And it looks much neater and cleaner, but I do have to snip these off here. All right, so there is our envelope. Now what I did was I'm going to put the little, I don't know what you call these, but I sat and made a bunch of them. And you basically just put your chipboard or cardstock, and you just put as many together, glue them together as you want for the thickness. So I've already gone ahead and done a bunch of them because I just want to have them on hand. But I also, I also want a little something over top of that, like I used this one for this one. So let me see, what have we used? You know what, I threw a little red piece away that I think I'm gonna have to dig back out because I can get my, let's see if I can get my circle out of that. Yeah, I can get my circle. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up a little bit first. And I'm gonna glue it on there. Okay, let that dry for just a minute. Now I'm going to repunch the hole. And this is why I made a bunch of them, so that I just had to put the little piece on the top if that's what I so desired. And there we go. Plus, I have one I saved as a template, so I can make them as straight as possible. Again, not my forte. I don't do things too straight unless I have a machine that helps me do that. Okay, now I took this, and because, like I said, I'm not very precision minded. Let's see, where's my center? My center is about here. And again, I just took my black marker and I thought, okay, right there's about where that's gonna go. So I'm gonna punch that out. Okay, and now I have my little disc. I guess that, yeah, they're maybe like called a disc. So I have that. And then I picked out this eyelet. And the first one I didn't have the little backing thing, which not all of them come with it. And I'm not very good at eyelets either. So, but I still persevere. Just keep going. Don't stop giving it a try. Don't stop believing. And I think some people put like a smaller disc in the back to build it up so when you wrap it, but it seemed to work on that one, so I'm not really going to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my eyelet in. I'm going to put it through here, and then I'll put my little backing piece. So on the other one I didn't do the backing piece, and that's why you see I have tape over it, which still made it look good, but I kind of glued it because I felt like it might come out, and then I put tape over it. So let's get this in there. Okay, let's get this in there. Okay, it's in there. And I don't know if you can see, but like I said, and sometimes I just move it around a little bit to make sure I got it. Oh, and that one came out nice. So I don't have to put anything over top of that if I don't, because that's going to hold that in there. And it actually looks super nice. Yeah, I like that. Good. Yay. Woohoo. All right. Now, let's move on to the tag. How did I do the tag that goes inside? All right. This tag I cut to 6 1/4, and as you can see, it goes down a little bit further than I would have liked it to go. But so I did the next one, and I already tested it. Well, I think I did. Let me test it again. I did this one at 6 1/2. Also, another thing I want to do before I forget, I want to put my little thumb notch. So I put a little thumb notch here so you could grab a hold of that tag. Because if I was going to put a tag topper, my top would not close. So I thought the little thumb notch was going to work just fine. So let me again get my center. And it's a little over. Some people can eyeball it and they're really good at it. I'm just not. So I like to have a guide there. Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? Yeah, that's right. What is the saying? Measure twice, cut once. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is 1 1/4. And then I'm just going to put that in there. Sort of get that line that I just put there in the middle. And, you know, and if it's not perfect, I'm not going to worry about it. But it's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and, that still keeps coming up. I'll go ahead and ink that up a little bit. All right, so the tag. Now this is actually a piece of, well, it's a digital. So it's a free digital. I think it came from Mandy Reed, and I think hers is Inspired Junk Journals. I don't have my iPad right here to look it up. But anyway, she gives this freebie, and I just printed one out, and then I took a lot of my scraps that I collect when I get too many of them, and I just made sort of what they call a master board where there's writing on the back. So I've cut this to 6 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then that fits almost perfectly. I might have to take a smidgen off of it for it to close. Yeah, I might just have to take a smidgen, but not much. I mean, literally a sliver has to come off there. A sliver. Okay, and then there we go. So that's going to fit perfectly. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and put some pretty corners in. This is a punch I got from Stampin' Up. It is my favorite corner punch, and I forget about it sometimes, and I'm like, gosh, I have to have something pretty, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, you bought that thing. You should try using it. I'm going to go ahead and do a 1/4 inch round on the bottom, and then that's going to be nice. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. That tea dye looks really rich on there. I like it. I like it. Okay. Let me go ahead and do the other side too. Let's not neglect the back side. Okay. All right, so now for the front, I don't want to leave it just plain. I may take a minute to think about that, but what I did with the last one, the last tag, I'll just show you some of the element or what I used. So these are little clusters that, you know, I sat and made a long time ago, and I might find one that works on there. And I don't want it to be too bulky, because sliding in and out of that page, I just don't want a lot of bulk in there. But some of them, when I made them, the papers were pretty stiff. Now I know to make it on a thinner paper, then you don't get this basically twist and twang that you have to kind of deal with. Oh, I kind of like that though. Oh yeah, I think I like that. And you can dress these up and dress them down as much as you want. But I think if I put that right, I'm going to find out, where does this hit? Where in my envelope? So if you see, it hits right above there is top to bottom, and I'm going to kind of put this, so I'm going to need this right, kind of right over that writing, so, but not below this line. And that's going to get it in the middle of that window. So, yep, that looks good to me. I think I'll do that. Now I'm going to glue this down really, really good on all the little corners and edges, because I don't want anything catching when it goes into that little pocket. Okay, so I'm going to put that right about here. Make sure that's stuck down good. So it's nice to have some of these little clusters ready to go. And look how easy that decision was. Now I'm going to see if I can't pick out a word for, let's see, how about, that's a little too big. Let's see, collect beautiful memories. I think I like that. Okay, my husband popped in for a second, so I turned the video off and did a little cleaning up on my desk. I also finished the tag and put the glued down the collect beautiful memories, and the tag is done for journaling. Now let's move on to the flip flaps, the flips, the flaps, okay? All I did was I took book page and music page, and I literally decided, okay, I wanted my, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to use music pages. You can do whatever. You can do 3, you can do 2. You can have them flip flap whatever way, like this could go here, this could go here, and this could go here, so it almost looks like a pocket style. But I designed mine to come from the right for the book pages. So when I cut my page down, I cut it down to 4.5, and I kept this part of the white because that's going to be flipped over. So all I did was I turned it like basically upside down so I could remember that this flap is going to get glued on this side. So I folded it down. I just kind of went to 3, I think I made them about 3 inches. I literally just eyeballed it, and let's see, about 3. And then I did that, you know, with a couple pieces. I would then go in and just cut that end off. Just cut this little extra that I have. You can do this before you glue it or after you glue it. But I just went in there and cut that off. Then I glued together. And you can just eyeball and not be as precise, but I'm pretty much a measure girl. Like I like it to be precise, but some people, they can just do freestyle. That's fine. Do whatever you like to do. So I just glued them just to make them a little bit more sturdy, and the glue helps do that. Okay. Then once I got a pile of them done, I had to clean up that edge. I did have a little edge there that was not clean, and I just took a smidgen off of that to clean it up. Okay. And then, since the envelope is 4 inches, I think, 4, it's like 4 1/8. You can either line it up and just fold it over, which is fine, or you can score that part. And then a little bit too much because I wanted them to come straight to the end. So maybe redo that. Okay. So I scored mine because, as you can see, again, with measurements, I struggle. Okay. Or with getting it to look right. So I did that for each side here. So I would have another one, or I have some all ready to go. And actually this was 4 1/8. 4 1/8 is where I scored it so that it would come over to the edge. And then I just had my fold. So I had 2 here ready to go and 2 here ready to go. Okay. Now at this point, you're going to do the same thing with your music page, although your music page would be on the left side. So when I cut it, because I wanted to have these symbols here, I cut it to this side so that I could get my, I think I cut it at 4 1/2. Yeah, 4 1/2. But then when I scored it at 4 1/8, and then from this edge, and then I got my edge I wanted. And the same thing, I turned it upside down towards me so I could remember this is to my left, and I just made my 3-inch. And same thing, trimmed it up, did all the stuff. Now I have my 3 pieces, and I've gone ahead and inked them up and got them ready to go. And this part is just as simple as pie. I did line it up towards the top, but I didn't want it to impede, so I made sure it didn't stop that flap from going down. And then again, I'm just going to get my book so I don't get glue on my desk. I put this here. Oop. And I would use art glitter glue for this. Same thing with the bottom. I just lined it up to the bottom. Lined it up. Turn it over. Put some glue. And then when I got ready to do this piece, I made sure my flap was up so that I wouldn't get it off center here by just my eyes going, oh, wait a minute. And I sort of lined it up over here to see where sort of was my side hitting. And the same thing, I just turned it over, held on to it, and glued. Okay. All right, so now we have our flip flaps. All right, so now at this time, if I wanted to put, what my original idea was to put my string from here to maybe the corner, I would right now, or even before I would have glued that, I would have done all of the work that I need to do before these got covered up. So I would have put that disc here, I would have punched it through, and then before my paper goes on here or whatever I'm going to do, that would be done. But I'm going to go ahead and do this one the exact same way. So then what I did was I just got into my stash and simply used my tear ruler, and then I just tore the pieces that I was going to use for covering the inside. Because as you can see, these are all upside down. And I wanted these to be writing journals. Or little writing spots. So I'm going to go ahead. These are a little bit big. I might have to redo them. All right, that one's going to work. And that one's going to work. And then I'll put this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and get those edges inked up before I do that. And then I'll get those glued down. Okay, all my edges are inked, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down. And I just used glue stick for this. It'll work just fine. just be generous. Make sure you get all your edges, so all your edges are glued down very well. Oh. All right. And then I just put that in there, smoothed it out. And there we go. They are all glued in, and our flippy flappy is coming right along. Okay, so another thing I did, because that paper is going to curl towards me because of I just glued it, I just went in and took my bone folder and sort of worked them this way. Or you can just put them under a book, flatten them out a little bit. But I just did this. And then, yeah, you can just put them under a book and, you know, they'll flatten out. Okay, so let's move on to my closure. So all I did was I took some twine, baker's twine. I almost called it binder twine. You know, the stuff you use to do bales of hay. So I just went ahead and started that around there, and I kind of just looped it around a couple times just to start working the disc to, you know, be able to get some you know, wraps around there. And then all I did was since it's coming from the top underneath, I literally just tied a couple knots in it and made sure they went up under the disc. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And I just pulled it tight. And I did another one. And then I just took my scissors and I just cut as close as I could to this part. And it seemed to work just fine. Because then when I wrap it this way, it's just going to make that tighter. Then I took it from here. And at first, I was going to do it this way. And it just was too straight for me. And I'm like, you know, I really would like to do it this way. So what I did before I finished wrapping was I took a piece of score tape, because score tape is very, very strong. And I laid my score tape right here so that it would stay in this corner. And I'm just going to really burnish that in there. And then on this one, I took the score tape sticky off, and I was like, well, that was silly. So I ended up putting a piece of tape over it. But then I put washi over the whole thing because the way I want to use this, I didn't want that this baker's twine to be impeding in what I was going to do. So I think this time what I'm going to do, just to make it extra secure, is I'm going to go ahead and use my score tape to hold that line down, to hold that whole thing down. And again, I'm just going to make sure that's burnished in there real well. Very good. Very good, very good. Okay, I'm going to take that off. Sorry, I think I was out of shot there for a second. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And then this time I'm going to use the washi tape. I had put washi tape across the whole back of it. But washi tape sometimes doesn't hold all that great, in my opinion. So with the score tape, when I run this across, and this is the right, yeah, width, it's going to even adhere that even better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. You know what? I'm putting another little piece right here because I can feel sticky and I don't want that getting in the way of what I want to do. So I'm just going to burnish that down. All right. Then I brought it around. How many times did I put it around? And then I just went, okay, let's do 1, 2, 3. And I wanted a charm, so I left myself quite a bit of room to get a charm on there. And there we have it. Okay, so I'm not going to do the charm. You can see literally all I did was tie a charm. I just tied a charm on the end and put a knot, just knotted it, sort of a noose sort of knot. I don't know how else to say it. And then put it around. Then you can decorate your little panels. So I just picked out a few things that I had. This one I think I'm going to put right here. I actually don't have, as I was going through my stash, I'm starting to get low on this type of stuff. So I'm going to be working on embellishments, I think, with just my round circles. I'm going to go through all my die cuts and start looking. I have a bunch of them already cut out and start maybe just getting some of them embellished so that they're a quick grab. So you kind of get the idea. And these two, I, you know, just did a label. I found a little circle thing I had. I put a stamp. And then on this one, I just did the butterfly with another label, which I'll probably repeat on that one. But then when you're done, there you go. You have this awesome little envelope folio type thing. And this is what you can do with it. I am going to use them to put in my journals when I'm just making journals. I want to make just an all junk journal. Just using some digitals, but just really using coffee dyed papers and eco dyed papers and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, you can glue this into your journal, and then this side could be left open, or you could put journal cards, or you could do the whole top, which I might do this and, you know, just put my little journal cards in there with little tabs. And this is why I didn't want this impeding the you know, putting these in. I didn't want to have to run into that, because where does that hit? See, that now hits here, but I can fix that too. I'll just maybe put some washi tape over this where it goes in a little bit smoother and you're not hitting that lip. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with them. I think they're super, super fun. I had fun making them. And I'll pop in a picture of this one completed at the end, and any more I might get done. So anyway, I hope you found that helpful, enjoyable. Go get yourself some paper. Go to the thrift stores. You can get lots of books and music pages and just stuff that people get rid of. You know, get some nature books. Get anything you can and make yourself some little flip-flap envelope folios. Okay. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.